Hey, everybody, welcome. It is Tuesday, September 1st, for all of you having September 1st birthdays. Hey, happy birthday. I know there's a few special people out there, and I am just, I'm a May 1st birthday. So we have that whole first thing in common. So there's a lot going on in the news, and I want to share with you what I'm reading, what I'm looking at. I want you to see some of the headlines. So the way this works, I spend a lot of time doing a lot of different things, and I'm always checking the news. And I thought it would be cool to share with you just some of the stories that I'm reading, some of the resources that I use, because it's really amazing to see what's happening when it comes to college. I'm especially obsessed with college and COVID because I work in the space. Usually, I'd be on college campuses visiting with students. Hanging out on campuses, but they're not doing live events because of what's happening with COVID. So anyway, let me bring you up to speed because I want students to be on campus. I hope students stay on campus. I want this to be a successful year because I'd like things to get back to where they were, but I want you just to get a sense of what's happening so you can see. Because what's also incredibly interesting is that I truly believe what's happening on college campuses is a preview of what's going to be happening in offices, is what's going to be happening at schools, it's what's going to be happening with conventions and conferences, it's what's going to be happening when it comes to large gatherings, large events. So how colleges, residential communities where people are meeting in groups, interacting in places, how they work through this, how they handle it, how they address it is going to be a great predictor of how long this is going to last and how other people can deal with it. So anyway, getting to where I find the best information. And if this thing, gosh, I see this flickering, it drives me bananas because I really am trying some new stuff here. All right, whatever, technology, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is the Chronicle of Higher Education. Let's dig a little bit deeper into what's happening here. So this is the most up-to-date information. The Chronicle is amazing. I could even refresh this. Let me refresh this and see if there's even more recent news that's come up. We're talking 521, and the University of Iowa is dealing with an outbreak. That's another breaking news. The University of South Carolina has 1,000 active cases. The South Carolina, North Carolina, it's been a huge issue. Colorado College has flipped to online education. Colorado College has been dealing with a lot of COVID on campus. In fact, I wanted to share this with you as well. So at Colorado College, the Colorado Sun has been a great resource. The Colorado Sun has this incredible article where they track students through quarantine. And what you don't see and what you don't hear about is these students, they get to campus, and if one of their residence halls is quarantined, they're stuck. They can't leave. They can't get food. They can't go to classes. They're seriously stuck in this place where they're isolated. And I'm going to get to some of the different tweets and give you a sense of just what's happening on these campuses. But all 3 Colorado College dorms were quarantined after more students tested positive. So they've already been having an issue. They are now flipping to entirely online, and they've asked students to leave campus. Another thing that's really interesting is to see when a school flips to online, when a school has this influx of COVID cases, how long is it taking for these schools to show the increasing positive rates? How many weeks does it take? I'm going to share with you a little bit of that, but I wanted to just get to one more story here. This is near me. Illinois State University logs over 1,000 cases among students. Illinois State University is in Bloomington, Illinois. It's one of the larger state schools in Illinois. And they have 1,023 positive diagnosis accounts for 5% of their campuses. 5% of their population has tested positive to COVID. So how 5%? I mean, that's a large percentage. And we're only a couple weeks into the year. Another great place to get information, and I'm going to dig deeper into some of these stories. What is it? Inside Higher Ed. Inside Higher Ed is great. Inside Higher Ed and the Chronicle of Higher Education, and I can share these links with you, has amazing information, the most up to date. So a big issue, and I talked to someone at Ohio State about this today, is when there's these outbreaks and when students are in residence halls and they're in fraternities and sororities, sometimes what happens is when there are positive cases, students will go home. They'll go home because they don't want to be on campus. But what is happening now is there's this reversal saying, we don't want you to leave, stay on campus, because if you go to campus and then you get COVID, you're going to be going back home and it's just going to spread out. So that's another big issue that people have been talking about. Inside higher ed, you're going to get some of the same stories that you're going to get in the Chronicle. So let's go back to the University of South Carolina. They've been dealing with this influx of cases. Things are starting to peak there. They started moving about August 9th to August 16th. So when you look at this, it's September 1st. So you have August 16th, August 23rd, August 30th. Tends to be about 3 weeks. And I've been seeing this on other campuses as well. It's about 3 weeks when the cases really start to increase. Now, Illinois State University is really unusual because Illinois State University, they've only been on campus for 2 weeks. And having so many cases, 5% of their population, when you're only on campus for 2 weeks, is not a good indication. There's this wonderful article that actually says the percentage, they've tracked the percentage of students on campuses who have tested positive. Illinois State University, they have about 5%. The University of Iowa, and these are college towns in the Midwest, the University of Iowa has about 3% of students testing positive. Missouri State, and then Iowa State University. And what's interesting about Iowa State University is this weekend they are going to be playing, I believe they're playing Kansas, and they're expecting 25,000 people in the stadium. 25,000 people. So you know what? It'll be interesting to see. Do people wear masks? Are they tailgating? Are we going to see an influx the following week? A lot of these schools are now testing on a regular basis. I know the University of Illinois Chicago, they're testing students twice a week using saliva tests. And what's also interesting is some schools didn't require students to test before they got on campus, while other schools did. At Ohio State, we're starting to see cases there, 495 student cases. If you're interested in any of this, go to the campus newspaper, because the campus newspaper is also going to give you more insight, more stories. Also, stick with me because I've got a couple other resources for you. The Indiana Daily Student and Indiana University. Now, you're not seeing them on all these charts, but at Indiana University, I know that there are, God, I wish I knew exactly how many of the schools, how many of the fraternities and sororities are on quarantine, but I'm going to say it's roughly around 10. Greek Life is one of the places where we're seeing people spreading COVID. We're able to see how it's tracking. In fact, Northwestern University, they last week said, students, you're not coming to campus. We don't want you to come to campus. We are going to only have the juniors and seniors, and you are not even allowed to open the fraternities and sororities. Gosh, I hope I'm not glitching. I'm using this new platform, and I don't know why it's glitching. It's like I've got like a high-speed connection. It's crazy. And the glitching sucks. It's like so annoying because I have so many good things to share. Maybe if I just move with the glitch. Anyway, all right. You can see it's driving me nuts. So there's been a shift now in the thinking. So at first it was colleges are blaming the students for coronavirus outbreaks. They're blaming the people who are partying. They're blaming the people who aren't following all the guidelines. But then there's this other sense that it's not just those issues. It's that whenever you get a large number of people who are congregating, who are hugging in the residence halls, who are just being social people, it's going to spread. I've been getting text messages. I've been asking people to send me updates from their kids, from their family, from their friends. And what's so interesting is how schools are reporting the outbreaks is very different, because I'm not seeing what I'm getting on text messages when I look through all of the news. Someone's daughter goes to NC State, who's very involved. They saw it coming. They had actually planned for a place for the daughter to quarantine. There's another person here who was going to Towson. They were all excited to go. At the last second, boom, they said they're not allowed to go to Towson. If you want to see what is happening. Jordan Schachtel, I should know Jordan's name. I don't know Jordan all that well, but Tales from America's COVID College Campuses. If you want to get a sense of what's happening, check this out. He's got a lot of followers, and he asked people to share with them what's really happening. And I would love for you to share with me what's really happening too, because I want to, if you like this, let me know. If you don't like this, if you don't like this, don't let me know. Why do I care? Why do I need to hear that, right? So Jordan was able to get an incredible amount of insight from people all over the country. At the University of Alabama, people were tweeting to him, the whole thing is a bait and switch. We're being forced to pay to attend Zoom classes in our rooms all semester. A few of my friends didn't even come back to town, and I don't blame them. Why would they come back to town when they get the same education? Because a big issue is a lot of schools waited till the very end of the summer to share their plans. And listen, I'm neutral with this. I'm not taking sides. I'm just sharing information. But the thing is, if you're a junior or a senior, you're someone who's living off campus and you had campus housing, you would have to, you would be safe because the campus housing, they let you out your contract. But if you're living off campus, which so many students end up living off campus, they had to sign their year-long lease. They had to commit, and then they discovered that they weren't going to be able to go to classes, or all of their classes became virtual when they were promised is a tough word, or at least they were hoping that that's what they would have. At Tulane University, no gatherings over 15 people. This is Tulane, right? You know Tulane, New Orleans. So much fun there, right? Everyone's mental health is crumbling. Nobody is even sick, and those Okay, hopefully you stuck with me through this. So at Tulane, people are talking about how their mental health is struggling. They're having an incredibly difficult time, and it's not the experience that students wanted. The University of Iowa has isolation dorms for COVID kids, guys in hazmat suits. If you've followed the stories on TikTok and NYU, if you want to do a cool search, do a hashtag COVID in college and NYU. You've got all these stories of students who are in quarantine and how they're dealing with that situation. So you can check out Jordan's Twitter right over here, Jordan Schachtel. Here we go. We'll go to the top there. You can see Jordan. And you can also check out that COVID story. In addition to that, I would be grateful if you can share with me what's happening. If you are on a college campus, if you have a child on a college campus, if you have a friend on a college campus, let me know what's happening. I really would like to share this. And here's the thing. I share these stories, and these are not like upbeat, happy, great stories. There are a lot of people who are probably having a great semester, a lot of people who are really enjoying themselves. And if you're having a great semester, if you think COVID has made things even better, if you are having more meaningful relationships, because I'll tell you, there's a whole other side of this. More people are more accessible than ever before, and people want to help. They want to support one another. You could be so creative, and you could form study groups, or you could have group meets, and you could go to a coffee shop, or you could go outside, or you could do something to meet people. There are many positive, upbeat stories, and I don't want that to get lost with all of this, but I also want to share with you what's happening, because I'm really curious to see, our school's going to make it through the semester. Purdue University, Purdue Protect. Purdue has been working so hard, and it will be fascinating. If any school can do it, I'm telling you, Purdue. Watch Purdue, because what they're doing and the effort they're making and how they're testing students and how they're enforcing this, it'll be really interesting to see. So with that, I want to thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry for any of the technical issues. I'm working on a new platform, and I hope to get this all smoothed out. Check this out. Follow me, Before College TV. Tweet me, hit me up. I'd love to hear what's going on. Thanks so much. I look forward to continuing the conversation. Thanks, everybody.